issue
Well,
per se.
sure.
I mean, that the problem is you've got an elected official that's, that's not looking out for the citizens on a basic level. It's got nothing to do with party politics.
Right. Yeah. Well, it should be an issue that concerns them all. What is especially troubling to me is here is a person who professes they want to be the Attorney General, and I believe the Attorney General, although it's not being operated that way right now, I believe the Attorney General of the state of Florida should have the responsibility to oversee anything that harms the citizens of Santa Rosa County.
Right.
He or she, whoever holds that office, should be spending their time on the murders and the beatings and the consumer fraud, and they should be deeply involved in sunshine issues.
But if you remember right, we didn't get a lot of interest from the current Attorney General on all the Team Santa Rosa stuff and the sunshine.
Absolutely not.
We got lucky, and the Governor Christ, came to town, and we told him what was going on, and that was what started the ball rolling. But the current incumbent wasn't doing anything either. And
well, there's no doubt that Bill McCollum, the only help that I ever got out of the current Attorney General is apparently one of my emails got to a staff member that sent or made a phone call to Team Santa Rosa and basically said Mr. Cooey has agreed to mediation. That's ladies and gentlemen, as you'll recall, Cindy Anderson, I asked for the emails of Team Santa Rosa, and she told me that I could have them for $765.
Right.
And the Attorney General's office sent an email to Team Santa Rosa and said, Mr. Cooey has agreed to mediation. You can either agree to mediation or we'll have to do something about this. And shortly thereafter, my $700 and something bill went to $350. It went to $150. It went to $50, and then it turned into, would you just please come by and get them?
Right.
But that was the only time the Attorney General did anything directly to help the situation.
And it was a long, drawn-out process.
Well, look, it's the part that aggravates me is the Attorney General of the state of Florida should be looking over these things. I shouldn't have to pick up a stick and chase him around to get him to look at something.
Right.
The Ethics Commission for the state of Florida should be automatically going after these things. And they are two of the watchdogs.
Right.
I mean, in all fairness, the governor does not have the judicial power to reach out and arrest somebody in Santa Rosa County. The Attorney General, the state attorney, the sheriff of your county has those powers, and then the Ethics Commission has powers to get involved in ethical matters.
Yeah, it never should have had to be elevated to the office of the governor. And of course, the other thing that we saw coming out of this Attorney General's office is we saw his opinion where Florida's Great Northwest, which is sort of a mega Team Santa Rosa in this region, in his opinion, shouldn't be subject to various sunshine law and open records laws.
I had an opportunity recently. Finally got a chance to sit down with Barbara Peterson.
She's the president of the First Amendment Foundation.
President of the First Amendment. I don't have it in my possession yet, but there is a photo of me standing proudly with her at the First Amendment office, and we were discussing that very thing, the Attorney General opinion of Florida's Great Northwest. And her opinion is it's not an opinion.
Right.
It doesn't say anything, which is, I was of the same opinion. When you look at Florida's Great Northwest, they do have one sizable grant that comes from the federal government, and it's been my argument before, and look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it again. I don't care what the source of the money is. It's still taxpayer money, and to dance around in a little circle and say, well, the Attorney General only can oversee what comes in at the state level,
right?
And well, that's federal stuff,
right?
And I will tell you one very good point. Look, I'm learning constantly about the Sunshine Law. Barbara Peterson, and she made a very good case. Money doesn't even have to change hands for an organization to have to follow Chapter 119
right.
and 286. For example, if someone went to Florida's Great Northwest and said, go recruit, go look for some grant money for me, they're doing a service. No money changed hands.
Right.
No money has to change hands. It's all about how and what an organization does. And I will say this, and this has nothing to do about Charlie Crist being in an election. I'm just telling you that when I asked for help, I got help.
Yes.
Met one particular staff member that reached out and helped, put me in the right places. And you know, and to me, I mean, look, folks, we pay a big price for these agencies. A big price. Office space, electricity, the water bill, the salaries, the benefits, the retirements, the automobiles. We pay a big price.
Yeah.
And all of us, of course, I'm encouraged by the level of noise in this year's elections. People are tired of being ignored, just like I have. With Kottkamp not returning an email and the Attorney General not doing anything, I'm not bashful about it.
Well, and I think you're starting to see where people are seeing these are nonpartisan issues.
Right.
These are just across the board sort of corruption type issues.
Yeah, it just, I remember when I first started down that road and got kind of initially got a little brushback from the Office of Open Government. Not a major brushback, but I don't think they quite understood what I was doing. And I stated in an email, I said, I am determined, not just for me, but for everybody else that I know and lives in the state of Florida, that the government that I pay for, they're going to be responsive to the needs of the people. And if that need is, I need you to go get this answer for me. If I need you to oversee how that spending is going, if I need you to make a ruling on something, I think you should do it. I just continue to be amazed at the effort that it takes from a citizen to get them to be responsive. And yeah. I just, I mean, from Bill McCollum's office, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a letter in my file box that I kept. Dear Mr. Cooey, if you are unhappy with our decision and what we've done on this, I would suggest that you seek outside legal counsel and sue them yourselves.
Right. It cost us thousands of dollars to you.
I'm already paying $500 million a year to feed and house you people to start out with, and you want me to go hire my own attorney.
Right.
At which time, when I go into the courtroom and sue my government, they're going to put 42 lawyers that I'm paying for on me and drive me to the courthouse.
Well, and that if you file that suit locally in this area, you have no chance of winning it. With the judiciary here, it would have to be elevated through appeals to the state level, maybe the Supreme Court level.
Yeah,
for something that simple and cut and dry.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to join with me. I want you to expect all of your elected officials, whether it be down here at the city level, local department heads, the elected officials at the county level, the elected officials in the state house and the state senate, and all of the sundry hundreds of thousands of people that you pay their payroll for, stand up and express that you expect them to be responsive, that you expect them to answer the question. You expect them, if they don't know the answer, to go find the person who does have the answer.